Tagaytay City, a popular holiday getaway known for its cold weather tourist traps and close proximity to Manila. It attracts local and foreign tourists of all ages for its unique atmosphere and pristine nature overlooking the ridge where you will see the Taal volcano. It is an underrated city hiding in plain sight. Most travelers won't think to hop on over from Manila to Tagaytay for a few days in between flights. Just an hour drive from Cavite and 64.5 kilometers from Manila, Tagaytay is a haven to relax in and be one with nature. This case study is aimed to look at the settlement evolution of Tagaytay City in its past to the present conditions. The earliest settlement records show that during the Philippine Revolution of 1896, it became a place of refuge and hideaway for revolutionaries from the nearby provinces. The wide stretches of Cogon offered a ready sanctuary and haven from pursuit of the Katipineros. As a passage for the revolutionary activities, the natives and the revolutionaries described their movement to and from the towns via Tagaytay with the word Mananagaytay, which means traversing the ridges of Tagaytay. At the outbreak of the Second World War, military supplies and personnel were airdropped on the Tagaytay Ridge by the 11th Airborne Division of Lieutenants General William Kruger's 8th Army. Prior to the liberation of Manila from the Japanese on February 3, 1945, to commemorate this event, the city officials, in coordination with the Philippine Historical Institute, installed a marker at the junction of the Silang Canlubang Nasugbo roads, thus creating a nucleated settlement pattern. Taga meaning cut, Itay meaning father. A father came across a wild boar together with his child in the depths of the forest, shouting, Taga Itay. As it echoes to the residents, wood gatherers, hunters, and kaingeros in the forest. Thus, it became a subject for conversation in the countryside for several days, and without shout, came to be known as the beautiful southern city of Tagaytay. On June 21, 1938, Tagaytay became a chartered city with the passage and signing by the late President Manuel L. Quezon of Commonwealth Act 338, a bill authored by Representative Justiniano S. Montano of Cavite. Today, the city of Tagaytay is identified as one of the priority areas for tourism development of the Department of Tourism. Likewise, the city has been identified in the Calabazon as a tourist center. With Tagaytay's rapid growth of their population, their landowners are mainly composed of 80% non-Tagaytay. Besides the fact that many are non-locals, the large hike in tourism and visitors in the city will be traced back in Baguio's 1980 earthquake disaster, which led to Tagaytay as a substitute to the reminiscent cold climate, sloped roads, and conserved mountainside flora. The planned housing settlements then began its ventures with the formation of the National Housing Authority on 1975. As they took part provided funds to cover for the Pabahay Program 2000, implemented by the year 1995, also funded under the city's local revenue and 2% of its yearly internal revenue allotment from the national government. Republic Act No. 7279, also known as the Urban Development Housing Act of 1992, an act to provide for a comprehensive and continuing urban development and housing program, established the mechanisms for its implementation and for other purposes. This Republic Act is implemented to aid LGUs with respect to housing and urban development, supporting housing operations nationwide. The Pabahay Program scheme used by the city is the usufructuary for a land and housing loan with no interest for the units payable within 10 years, 15 years, and or 20 years amortization scheme. These income groups and types of beneficiary are given options to choose the type of amortization scheme in the repayment of their housing loan. This program also aims to rid and avoid of curb squatters and slums in the city. Tagaytay is a transitioning city. There is a major shift in its economic structure from being an agricultural-based to service-oriented community. The urbanization trend is not led by its residents, but a host of real estate developers, with developments mostly geared towards wicked residential and recreational facilities. Tagaytay's lands are allocated into 11 types, all of which can be seen in the city's land use and zoning map with its corresponding color codes. This is the 2009 Amendment Land Use Map of Tagaytay City, surrounded by agricultural lands, which is the light green areas, an ecological development area colored light blue. The general development areas, which is colored yellow, are the equivalent to the suburban, which is predominantly used for residential subdivisions, and the primary and secondary urban cores, or the commercial areas, which are colored red and pink, were developed among major road and barangay roads, with the tourism strip colored orange at a convenient location wherein the Taal volcano is best viewed. Now, compared to the 2019 land use map of the city, commercial areas have consumed part of the agricultural lands. Some of the residential areas are converted into service-oriented facilities. It is believed that in the next 5 to 10 years, the agricultural land will be disappearing and will be used for commercial and/or residential developments. As of 2010, Tagaytay City have 34 barangays, and 25 of which are urban and 9 are rural. The city has a very strong population pull factor. The 1990 census data places in migration of 27.5% to come from the surrounding municipalities of Cavite, 23% from Batangas and Laguna, and 4.5% from other regions of the country. The population of the 2015, according to the National Statistics Office of the Philippines, grew from 45,287 in 2000 to 71,181 in 2015. That is a 25,894 population increase in 15 years, having 1,299 square kilometer population density. However, due to the shape of this city has emerged as a weekend hideaway with very low weekday population and a very high weekend population. Most homeowners in Tagaytay aren't permanent residents, as they only come in on vacations, with subdivisions mostly empty on weekdays. Tagaytay is to Manila what the Hamptons are to New York. With just being more than an hour from Manila, Tagaytay hosts the second homes of the capital's well-off, the rich and the famous, as well as its top politicians, who are drawn to the city's chilly weathers and fantastic views of the mountain sides, and especially the Taal Lake. In the meantime, local residents enjoy their lives dotted alongside the city's roads in a linear pattern, since the city's focal points are mostly built with commercial centers. Majority of the household has single houses, estimated to 90%, and the remaining households live in duplex, multi-residential units, commercial and institutional living quarters. Most moneyed locals take advantage of the city's tourist economy, hence the prominent presence of commercial establishments, while some convert their homes into Airbnbs and rental lodgings from tourists that want to stay in Tagaytay. Even developing cities like Tagaytay has their fair share of problems and challenges. Among the dominant problems related to housing in the city is the means of public transport, mostly in the interior part of the city, and for these barangays that usually mode of transportation is tricycle. Another problem is the access to regular garbage collection because of barangay location, topography and slope of the areas, as well as the water shortages experienced by the locals and business establishments. Alongside the city's development, the local government unit also predicted a large growth in their population, but with the present number of housing available, They fear they might not be able to provide housing for the future residents. The city's future shelter needs were based on the 2010 shelter backlog and the computed future growth in the number of households based on the population growth rate of 3.19%. This assessment will cover the planning period of 9 years and divided into 3 program periods of 2016 to 2018, 2019 to 2021, and 2022 to 2024. The total shelter needs up to the planning period of 2016 to 2024 is estimated to 5,411 housing units. However, on the assumption made, 40% of the total need to be provided with housing units totaled to 2,165 households. Backlog pertains to the number of dwelling units needed at the beginning of the planning period. This composed of the doubled up households, displaced units, and homeless household individuals. Based on the 2010 census as baseline data of the city, the total number of households is 13,150 households, and the total population is 62,030. Out of this data, the computed backlog is 191 households. Long before Manila dwellers began a long-distance affair with the highlands of Baguio, Sagada and Kalinga, they have been in a long-standing romance with Tagaytay. It's not a high-maintenance relationship. The physical connection is there. It is geographically close, easily accessible, and it doesn't demand too much time or money. Our group realized that Tagaytay is like a giant balcony with a fantastic view, and it is perched in the northern reaches of Taal Lake, attracting thousands of vacationers and supporting its massive tourism industry. Its highways and inner alleys are lined with a wide array of accommodations, from luxury villas to budget hotels and restaurants, ranging from fine dining to its homegrown fast food places. Today, the city of Tagaytay is identified as one of the priority areas for tourism development. Likewise, the city has been identified in the Calabazon as a tourist center.